professional athlete. Ivan, do you mind telling me a tale of your days as a professional athlete? I'm in awe right now.
Well, it's from a very old game, but very new sport. The sport exists officially since 2004, and I'm an ex foosball player. The official name of the sport is table soccer, and yeah, it got me hooked playing in university, and it took me 3 years to become a national champion. And so when went to France for the championships, we have our own Olympics and stuff like that. Played for the Bulgarian national team about that. So yeah, it's awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another episode of Late Night Bitcoin with Q. I am your host, Q, and I'm joined by none other than Mr. Ivan Makedonski. Uh, I have so many questions right now, and we're gonna stay with the foosball for a moment because if you watch this show, you know there's like a little bit of Bitcoin, but a lot more about just like life. Um, Ivan, so like this is I'm so afraid to ever meet you in a bar simply because I know if I was drunk, I would just sit there and talk shit to you and be like, if I score one goal, like I win. Kind of like, is that kind of how you have to play against your friends now? Is it like they
No, really. I don't play football for money. I mean, because a lot of people everywhere in the bars are like, "Oh, I'm the best, whatever," and uh,
you are the
just by
best?
I've been the best, and we go to a particular club where our national champions and the professional players play, so it's even a challenge for me. But when you go to a bar and somebody says, "Oh, let's play for money," they have no idea what they're getting into. Like, yeah.
When did you realize that you were just on a different level at this game?
Oh, it was not that I was on a different level. I was actually very, very bad, and
Ooh.
people beated me in the beginning, but it got me hooked in the game because you're so close next to your opponent that it's literally like a fight, and the tension is so high. Imagine that in this small table, there are four people around it, or two people, depending on which. Uh, Type of game you're playing, and all the audience that is watching, let's say you have 50 100 people watching, and all that tension is so much concentrated into that small space, and literally it's like a fight, and you have to resist sometimes if you don't have your nerves to punch somebody on the other side. But it got me hooked on the energy of the game, and I said, okay, I don't care that I'm the so weak at this game, but little by little, and you grind to it. 3 years it took me.
That's awesome.
Uh, yeah.
What is the okay? I have two more questions, and then we can talk about Bitcoin. First question: what is the like? Have you made someone cry because you beat them so bad?
Actually, no. I mean, some women cry in a professional game. I mean, because there is no limitation for women can play in the men's event. They have their own events also, but I've seen that. But when I meet enthusiasts, I try to make it fun for them because they're going to see something that they had no idea that it's possible on that instrument. We say that the football table it's a very strange instrument because it's like a guitar. If you have no idea how to play, you have no idea what's possible. You think that spin some rods or stuff like that, but it's literally a millimeter makes a difference. And the professional football players can be so accurate. They yeah. You should watch some professional footballs. The best guy currently is an American on top of the world. He's
USA,
called.
USA, USA.
Yeah, yeah. He's called Tony Spreadman, and he is an amazing. But yeah, there was one Belgian guy which is the god of football currently, and
Wait, are these matches? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Do these matches take an hour? Or like, how long is a match? Or is it just like
uh,
until you score 10
yeah.
goals?
Yeah, it's not until you score 10 goals. It's depending on the event, it's either best of three or best of five games to 5 goals.
Wow,
So,
quick.
yeah, and there are rules, and I'm also a professional referee in the, matches, but it's a completely different world. Like, most people have no idea that this is a professional sport, and yeah, but it's so fun. Like, if you watch a professional video on a match, you can't comprehend what's actually happening. You have to see it live, because you actually don't see the ball, and you have no idea where the ball could go, how it can be manipulated. I was one of the guys. Yeah, I was one of the guys in Bulgaria that learned an aerial shot. This is a type of shot where I pick up the ball and go over everybody, and score a goal that way. It's particularly a different one, but it's you see this type of manipulation. Now imagine this thing you're doing for 10 hours straight, just
That's
ball
wild.
control.
I,
Yeah.
I honestly, I hope he does an aerial goal so we can actually, for those who are listening to the podcast over on YouTube, we are watching right now Mr. Tony Spreadman just absolutely make work of a foosball table. This is mind boggling. My final question as it pertains to foosball is when you see noobs like myself spin a foosball like stick, how pissed off do you get?
No, I don't get pissed off. But for amateurs, there are 4 rules. The first rule is have fun. The second rule is have fun. The third rule is no spinning. And the
I thought you were gonna say
yeah,
have fun. Damn it.
and the fourth rule is have fun. So yeah, if you want to increase the level of to become an amateur, that's the only rule that really, because yeah, spinning. I will still beat you, but it just you would not enjoy that
It's
one.
like it's like
Yeah,
it's like bowling with the bumpers on, but I also do that.
yeah,
So
yeah. That thing doesn't matter. Yeah, because in football, unlike the real contact events, if I have the control of the ball, unless you strategically block me, you can't come with your players and take my ball away from my rod. So either I have to lose control, or you have to strategically position your men between my passing or my shooting. That's the only way. So even if you spin, it affects me zero. So,
all right,
yeah,
all right, all right. I don't doubt that you would kick my ass in foosball at this point. It's like I told you, man. I don't even have a beer in me, and I'm talking shit. So if I ever saw you in a bar, like I'd be screwed. Although
yeah,
you and I could hustle some fools. Let me be the
yeah.
mouth. You play the game. That'd be great. We can make
Yeah.
some money in one night, bro.
Just one last thing on that topic because it's really fun. But
Cool.
I organized an event for amateurs where professionals are not allowed to play, and we gave some prizes. And the winners of that event, it was about 100 people entering in the event. So the winners out of those 100 people, because it was in doubles, I said, okay, you think that you're good? Okay, I'll put you with a professional player. He will play with one hand. He is alone against both of you. They couldn't score. Like, yeah, like that's the difference. Like, it's incomprehensible if you've never seen a professional game live.
Like they're not even trying, are they?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I don't play for money. It's like um, I lied. I played once for money because the person had a lot of money and I wanted to have stuff. So
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
yeah, and I tried to not destroy him so he could ask for more, but his girlfriend came and interrupted
Man,
the game.
that's a whole other level of cock block. That's like that's a wallet block. No, there's got to be a catch
She
in
did him
that.
a favor, yeah,
Oh, she's a
but
rich as bitches. That's what it is. She's a rich as bitches. She didn't want you to get eternal riches, and she's a bitch for
yeah.
doing it.
I still got some, so I shared with a friend. We went to a nightclub, so so
Nice.
good. Yeah.
So, Ivan, the first question that I'm supposed to ask that I very clearly didn't ask, because we went down a rabbit hole that I am not apologizing for. Uh, is what was the first time you ever heard about Bitcoin, and what was your initial reaction?
Uh, I heard about it in late 2013, but it was just in passing, like uh, I didn't get even interested. I just heard, or some people made some money because it shoot up. I didn't even know the price or from what it started. Absolutely nothing. But in 2014, some personal events hit, and I just forgot about it until 2019 when my girlfriend bought one Ethereum for 50 pounds. And in 2021, it was like 4,000 bucks. And she was begging me, come on, learn about this. And I said, go away. I don't want to learn about this. Yeah, I worked in three different Forex companies in 2017 in a span of 2 months. And because they were absolute scam companies, I thought that the crypto stuff is just an excuse for scammers to do it. And it's true. But once a close friend said, I'm going to return back the money that I owe you, came out of nowhere. And I said, how are you able to do that? Because I didn't expect this money. And he said, oh, I'm in some crypto tokens, but not the popular ones, and everything is great. In 2021, everything was going up because of Bitcoin, just tagging along. And I said, okay, let me learn about this. And my Christmas vacation in 2021, so I'm a class of, I would say, 2022. I started learning about the whole thing, and 16 hours a day, listening to podcasts for 10 days straight, and you pretty fast understand there's Bitcoin and there's everything else. So yeah, I still went into crypto shit just to confirm it for myself and try to find a decent project, but like even the project that I found that is decent about gaming, it's built on a swamp, so it's going to crash because it's built on top of a stupid proof of stack chain. Yeah. I don't hear you.
I'm
Sorry.
muted. Damn it. All right. Talk to me a little bit about, your girlfriend having bought ETH. Is she still like, have you convinced her that Bitcoin is,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
what is, like, does she still hold ETH? No judgment,
No.
safe space.
No.
But what
No.
about
No.
what about the friend who paid you back? Like, is
Oh,
he
he crashed and he's a waiter now. So,
no? Is he asking you for more
yeah,
money?
no, 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 no. But yeah, even on the that uh, crypto shit, because I did some from the initial research that I did. I still have some there, and I just keep an eye on what's going to happen because I like the project, the gaming project that it is, but because it's on a time schedule that it's going to end at some point, so we just don't know when. I just like to know how it's going to resolve itself, how they're going to crash. The guys are cool, but even the programmers that are making the games with the NFTs, I've sent them Jeff Bull stuff, and they didn't watch it. Like,
But
yeah.
but I think it's interesting though because you can show them where the water is, but you can't force them to drink it.
No.
And despite that, there's still a demand, although it is diminishing. Like, people are still buying NFTs, whether or not we want to admit it. Like, it is happening. Most of it is wash trading, sure, but there's still people who genuinely are interested in that, who genuinely see the benefits of proof of stake. Um, Look, not everyone's gonna make it. What am I saying? Like, they're just
Yeah.
gonna say poor. We're the ones who are gonna get rich. I didn't say that. Um, you should definitely not quote me on that. uh, Talk to me a little bit then about, you know, you said you dabbled in shitcoins, you went and explored. What for you is, like, give me some bullet points, quick hitters on why Bitcoin is superior to your average shitcoin.
Uh, I would say that they're not playing the same game at all. When they talk about technology, they talk about NFTs are programmable computers, but with art or with whatever. And there is some art that does nothing. Like, if you think that the baseball cards that they're doing with an NFT is the same with the physical one, like it's again, nature has to clean those out in order for people to understand it, because people, I talked with a relative that he thinks that everything is the same, that it's a company and stuff like that. It's, for me it was like, okay, so if I offer you a car and I tell you buy this car for $10,000, are you going to buy it? Like, you have no idea what you're getting into. Like, why the hell would you do the same for some coin or whatever they're selling? If I tell you this, you are going to be okay. I want to see the car. I want to test the car. What's that? What's that? So you compare it to something else. But this task of Bitcoin, that it's going to become global money, first of all, they don't even want to try. And the ones that are saying that they're trying, like, either they're absolutely lying to you and they know that they will never be, or they're delusional. Either way, the result will be the same. And it, but because people don't know what is money, and they don't have a reference why Bitcoin is a better form of money, and eventually it will evolve. Everybody there. to transfer to the better money. Like that's why is the demand, because people, I would say, are sheeple about this, and that's why the engineers have that type of critical thinking, and also they prove themselves wrong. It's part of their thinking about any thesis. Like once you form a thesis, you form an antithesis so you can test it. And engineers do that. Economists don't. So yeah, I would say Bitcoin is trying to win the game of money. The only thing that fiat has on that is the adoption, but that will end, I would say, in the 10 years, because everybody will have some, even if they don't understand it, at least some portion. And after that 10 years, then it's about from a portion to be half of the money, and from half of the money to be all of the money. At least that's in my view. The other stuff, they're trying to do something else. Like they have no idea what Bitcoin is and what's trying to solve, and they say, "I'm going to do it better." Like how? Like you have no idea what it is, but you're going to improve it. Good luck.
I think that's the funniest part to me, though, is the fact that like a lot of these sort of cryptos that show up tend to just, oh, we've solved this problem with Bitcoin, or we've solved that problem with Bitcoin, and I find it lacks a substantial amount of effort in understanding Bitcoin itself. Like my favorite, like I just laugh now whenever I hear things like, well, you can't make a payment quickly on Bitcoin, or it's too expensive, or it takes too long. Just it it shows me you yourself have not done your own due diligence. And I'm happy to answer the questions, but if you're convinced that the piece of information that you got 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago is still accurate today, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you for having that much conviction and commitment. I just got news for you, bro. You're wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and they're not even thinking. Like, they've heard that news from somewhere, and we were all there about it. But at some point, some emotional trigger for not forced you, but made you research about it. And everybody will come to that point, because all those emotional triggers and pains are coming from for everybody in the fiat system. And it's just a time, when are they going to push a button for everybody in the world? And that's the best marketing. And then we go and say, buy Bitcoin, and let me walk you through. And yeah, the I I laugh so hard. Like they say that the Bitcoiners are like this toxic mentality or whatever, and like I've never met so loving people. Like even when I reach out to people via social media and stuff like that, like even my sister was like, because we were both in sales, why are people so nice? Like reaching out to Bitcoiners, why are people so nice? There's nowhere else where people are this consistently nice. But when you're a scammer, we're going to expose you. Like that's the difference. That's not toxicity. That's just them. Like, oh, be nice to me, so I sell you shit. Like, why?
Let's talk a little bit about that, because I think Bitcoiners just get this bad rap, and unfortunately, it again just goes back to this notion of like, have you actually spoken to a Bitcoiner? Like, have you reached out to just have a conversation? I'm not talking about like you posted something that they didn't agree with, and then they said something that made you feel bad about yourself because it was probably something stupid to begin with. Um, I digress though, and let's talk a little bit about the toxicity of Bitcoiners. Um, what does that mean to you when you hear toxic Bitcoiner? Who
First
is
of all,
Bitcoiner comes to mind?
like first of all, I have to encounter this toxicity, but it's really hard for me because I am a bit kind of, I don't know what's the toxicity, because I don't really engage too much in social media, and in Twitter I hear that they're like the worst of the worst, but uh, I personally never saw it, never experienced it. Really, I just feel the love everywhere. Obviously, it's like, for me, I'm going to go around the houses, wandering. So I see, if I have an opportunity to steal something, I'll steal it. But if some people will catch me, I will not steal it. And everybody in shitcoinery is like that, and wondering why the hell people are getting on their case. Like, we're just exposing. It's like the night watch for your neighbors. Like, are you mad at those people that are the night watchers, or you should be mad at the people that are wandering around the houses? Like, yeah, like if you're one of the wandering around the houses looking for an opportunity to steal, they're killing your business. So that's why you're mad. It's not that it's toxicity. It's like uh, a policeman pulls a gun on you so you don't shoot some other person, and you say he is violent. Look, like, no, you have a grasp of the whole situation before you say stuff.
Do you want to talk? Let's talk news for a second, and then we'll talk breeze. How about that?
Okay.
So the picture I put up for today's episode on YouTube and on Twitter was a picture of BitBoy, um, and I definitely got some heat for that. But we're gonna talk news, and I'm gonna just point the finger and say I think we have to be careful in Bitcoin when we take victory laps on crypto people. I think, and I've said a lot, and I genuinely believe this, that things like whatever they do against Ethereum, against crypto, they will attempt against Bitcoin as well. They may not have success, but that doesn't mean they're not going to do it. And so, with that said, the news today that came out was that pretty much all the YouTube influencers who shilled FTX, including BitBoy, have been served a class action lawsuit. This is on top of the previous class action lawsuit that was filed against like all of the people who were a part of the TV commercials, like Kevin O'Leary, Tom Brady, Larry David. So people are going after of anyone who had essentially spoken positively in the public light on FTX. Now, what happened with FTX obviously is fraud, a scam, color whatever you want. I simply say all SPF needed was a banking license, and then everything he did was legal, as we just learned over the last week. That's just my take on it. Argue with me all you want. Throw it in the comments if you don't agree. Shoot me a DM. Let's hash that out. Someone change my mind on that. Ivan, change my mind on that. I genuinely, I genuinely believe that the only difference between what SPF was doing and what Silicon Valley Bank did is the fact that Silicon Valley Bank had a banking license. Like FTX was obviously not
Yeah.
a bank, it was an exchange. But for all intents and purposes, that's to me just a bank for crypto in essence. Um, so two parts to that. A, sit on that, marinate on that. You don't need to answer that now. You don't need to answer this today, but maybe one day you will. What up, Eastside Tony? And on the other side of it, we have these lawsuits coming out against the people who essentially were speaking in public positively about FTX. I don't necessarily want to celebrate it, but I do love it when BitBoy gets rocked. Uh, Ivan, what are your thoughts on just yet another lawsuit going after these people?
Uh, I would say it's nothing out of the ordinary. The dynamic that I personally see is the state has an opportunity to have some income. They'll take it. Like they will sue you, they will coerce you with the tools that they have. And right now, they have the opportunity to sue some people that were promoting FTX. Whether that's moral or not, I don't know. There are arguments made for both cases, I think personally. But well, how is the state going to feed this fiat machinery? Well, taxations, lawsuits, inflation, all the tools that they have. And right now they're choosing, okay, we'll sue some people and we'll see what type of an income we could have by this. And for all the people that got exposed and they got big, they're first on that list because they know, oh, these people have money, so let's sue them. Let's see what we can shake out of them. And I would say that that will happen more and more in the future because the pressure on the state to survive will become bigger and bigger. So they will use those tools of suing, taxation, and inflation more and more, trying to compete with Bitcoin. Like even if they succeed in a glimpse, even if they get this 1 billion, like. We all know where it would end. It's like one, you have two people that are racing right now, and one is increasing speed little by little, the other one is decreasing speed little by little, and you have unlimited time. What's the outcome there? Like the fiat will stop eventually, and Bitcoin will. It doesn't matter how fast or how slow it is in each individual situation, but every year is going to become faster, and every year fiat is going to become slower. Eventually, there one is going to be Bitcoin is going to be faster about absolutely everything, and the other one, then everybody will feel. They still won't realize why Bitcoin, but everybody will feel that they have to get into Bitcoin, and yeah, then it's we have a Lebanon event when it just shoots into trillions inflated money.
Now, I know in the long run it doesn't matter, and I am fully in that camp. However, I think it is worth pointing out and discussing briefly at least the fact that while Bitcoin did nothing wrong, as FTX collapsed, so too did the price of Bitcoin. Is it something that Bitcoiners need to start to at least be aware of, like what goes on in crypto land, as it could then impact or cause something bad to happen? Like, do we almost need to play like the night watch or like a policeman of sorts? Like, hey, that looks real fucked up. And then, like, you know, I'm not saying work with regulators, but I'm more or less alluding to it, or just like work with the community to at least be like, hey, like, do not touch this project. This reeks of a scam. Like the way a lot of Bitcoiners sort of have been taking it on to go and talk to Hexagons, like shout out Brad Mills. Like, hey, this is a scam. Is that a more appropriate approach to at least help Bitcoin be separate? Or like, should we just expect that inevitably, if like Hex for whatever reason is gets wrecked for whatever reason, thank God, hopefully very soon, uh, somehow there's like a contagion spillover and Bitcoin sees a sympathetic trade lower. I know,
Yeah.
right? Like, I feel dirty saying it. I know. I feel really dirty saying things like pay attention to the scams. But like, I'm more saying from the lens of like, I guess I'm not about it.
I would say, as a broad message, we'll continue to say, like, there's Bitcoin and there's everything else. What you do with everything else is your personal choice, and you have to touch the fire a few times before you actually start learning why there are some differences there. But unless there's a direct person that you could explain personally, I don't think that we have to be that police every single time. But let's say my parents buy something, or they buy it to a custodial exchange, or whatever they do that they're just not educated about. I will go and help them out. I will explain why this, why not that, was that about. And I'll be nice. I won't be like, you're a fucking moron. Why the hell did you do that? That happens in social media, because that's clickable. But in person, people are not like this. And uh, about regulations, just expect more lawsuits, like, for all those people. Like, whether you realize it or not, they will come after every single one. And as I said previously, Bitcoiners are extremely nice people. Like, what the what the hell are you doing to provoke the thing that you call toxicity? Actually, there are two sides of that coin. Like, really, I've never experienced, like, hey, I am into Bitcoin and I would like to learn. Like, there was nobody that was like, uh, go do it yourself, or like, yeah, you're wasting my time, or anything like that. They're so helpful, and we just need to continue doing that, in my mind. And for people that you personally know, just guide them through it. The rest is absolute noise. And just use individual talents. Let's say if you're already in government and you get the orange pill, use those resources to reach out the people that are next to you in your circle of trust. If you're in sports, you orange pill people that are around you in sports. And it's slow process, but people trust other people. And people don't trust text in social media. Like, how much weight does a tweet has to your DMs from somebody that you have no idea who the hell is that? And how much does it matter when it's your best friend? Like, like, take the people that are close to you, that you like them, relatives. The rest will figure itself out.
I can appreciate that. Um, I want to spend, we got a little bit more than 50, or a little bit less than 15 minutes until we are at midnight. And I want to get a chance to have you talk to us a little bit about Breeze. Um, like I said before, talk to me like I'm 5 years old because I'm as smart as a 5 year old right now. What is Breeze? What are you guys cooking up, and what are you trying to do with it?
Yeah. I would say that the big things that are under the hood in Breeze are starting to come out. Roy released in Medium two articles. The first article is about the SDK that Breeze is doing. And the SDK, consider this: every single app that you have on your phone now, with the SDK, with let's say 10 seconds up to a few hours, you can integrate Lightning into it. Every single app with this is the SDK. Is that good? You tell me. So it's like, in the past, we had stuff delivered to us, but you couldn't pay with a credit card. Well, that thing happened to the internet economy. Now, Breeze is facilitating all that. So the Lightning Network, the users and the transfers that are happening, we have our first use case, EV charging company. They do EV charging stations. They integrated the SDK, so now people in Europe can uh, load their car with SAT. So, and that's just one case. Let's say Subway Surfers or whatever app or integrates the SDK of Breeze, and you can stream SATs to them. So that's, I would say, huge about adoption of the Lightning Network. And the other thing is about open uh, Lightning service provider model. That means that if you provide liquidity to the Lightning Network, let's say you are a company that has 1,000 coins, and those 1,000 coins can generate yield because they're in cold storage. You did the best practice, and the one thing that all the crypto shit has on us, where is the yield, where is the yield, and they do inflation and think that's a yield. Well, in Bitcoin, if you use your coins in the Lightning Network, you can generate yield because you're providing the routing services in there. So part of the fees will come back to you. And with the open LSP, with the Lightning service providers, will provide those routing fees for you. So that means that you don't have to set up routing fees for your app, but you just provide the coins, you set up the node, and Breeze will take care of the rest, all the writing fees, and we just share the yield. So let's say right now, the Lightning Network has 5,500 coins in channels. Well, imagine one company just puts 500 because they want to have 2% yield a year of Bitcoin. Well, even that thing, now we are taking away from the shitcoins. So, and that thing will provide so much liquidity in the Lightning networks, and we'll have so much more money transitioning there because of it. And those two things, the SDK and the LSP model, I think are huge. And I am so grateful to the team that they decided to join me in it, and I'm helping along. But those are awesome people, and the way that they think about solving the problems, they are thinking, how can we do the vision of Satoshi Nakamoto? So Bitcoin is medium of exchange because we're tackling that problem. How far we're going to get, how fast, we don't know, but that's the vision. And those two things coming from the same company, I would say is great.
Talk to me a little bit about, what are some limitations you guys are dealing with right now based on adoption? And what I mean by that is, what are roadblocks today that you think, as more people are using Bitcoin, will no longer become problems for you?
Um, well, there are the two things are about right now. I would say the problems are about Lightning. We need more users there that are using and sending those ads, and we need more liquidity. So in order to have more users, you need to have more use cases. So like I said, all the apps, if they start let's say one app has 1 million users. Now, the people that will be using the Lightning Network, let's say 10% of those, get increased by 100,000 with one SDK deployed in one app. So the users will increase so fast, and it's like a flywheel effect. Because you have more users, you will have more yield. So when you have more yield, now you're incentivized not only to have cold storage, but to set aside, let's say, 30, 40, 50% of your Bitcoin. So you can generate yield. And on the liquidity side, uh, it's uh, we just need more coins. So with that model that I said, the people will start figure out, okay, so if I have 1,000 coins, yeah, Bitcoin is increasing, but what am I comfortable putting as liquidity in the network so I can generate, let's say, 2% yield on that yearly. So not only you get upside on that, but you get actual yield and you get double upside. And it's like a flywheel effect. So more users will generate more yield will generate more liquidity, so people are incentivized to do it, and the more liquidity will generate more users. So that type of problem we're solving right now, and I think the first one will resolve itself with the users. Because of Nostr and all the use cases, it's much easier to onboard a lot of people. And with Fedimint also coming out and stuff like that, I think Lightning Network in the next couple of years will become mainstream, at least in Bitcoin circles. Actually, not only there. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it. Like I get what you're saying, where it's like it's kind of there within Bitcoin circles, but it's kind of not. But I would actually say it's not there yet in Bitcoin because there are so many people who just want to hold their Bitcoin, who don't like. I am part of that class of people who genuinely like. I get frustrated if I'm forced to spend Bitcoin right now. I'm like, no, I'm not ready for that. Like like it's just talk to me in like 10 years and then maybe we can start talking about like I'll spend my Bitcoin. I won't sell it, but I'll spend it. Um,
Yeah.
but I think that is the larger hurdle. So I guess my next question, because I know and I understand and I agree with you that Satoshi in the white paper discusses this. This isn't just a store of value. This is also a medium of exchange, and eventually can become a unit of account. So talk to me a little bit about how we go from where I think the majority of Bitcoiners are now today. This is a store of value to that next phase where you're already working on, which we need to be working on because you don't get there and then start building the stuff and the tools to utilize that. Like it's that old saying of you're a millionaire in your actions, your mindset, and your behaviors long before your bank account reflects it. Like it to
Yep.
me, it's the same thing here. So how do we start that shift?
Yeah. The way that I was thinking about spending Bitcoin is because we are so ingrained in the fiat thinking. We did not cleanse ourselves completely out. And when you start accumulating Bitcoin, my process is like this. Start first with what are your goals about life? What do you want to accomplish? And write those down. 3, 10, 100. The more, the better, in my opinion. And start saving in Bitcoin. Dollar cost average, monthly, weekly, daily, whatever your preference is. And start ticking off the things that now you can afford. Never sell 100% of your Bitcoin, but anything between 10% and 50%, you're good, because Bitcoin will increase, and everything that you have in that list, you'll be able to afford. And that's how you start using your Bitcoin little by little. And one other rule that I have for myself is not only that I check off things from my list, but I'm not like Michael Saylor. I can't retire right now, and I don't have a golden goose that's generating yield. But what I can do is just spend my Bitcoin when it's at an all-time high. That's the only thing that you have to do. whenever you feel like, okay, now it's an all-time high, and you know that there's always going to be a next all-time high. So let's say you want to be able to buy a house. Figure out, okay, I want this house to buy, and don't even write the amount of money next to it, but just start saving in Bitcoin. At some point, you will be able to afford it, but don't spend again all of the Bitcoin. I would say the maximum should be 50%, and because there will be darker days, maybe. But if you start thinking like this, how do I spend properly? Because if you think only, oh, it's going to increase in value, that's the fear thinking still ingrained in you. And if you die, let's say in the next 10 years, why the hell, like, you just accumulated? You, like, that doesn't really make sense. That's not true living. That's just applying the fear thinking. Oh, I struggle to survive. People are stealing from me. Apply it into Bitcoin for me. So that's my approach to it. Write the goals, and when you're able to afford, and let's say, oh, now I can buy 4 houses, spend 25% of your Bitcoin and buy one house that you're going to live in, and everything else will figure itself out. But in the beginning, once you're didn't go through one cycle, 4 year cycle, it's hard to get to it because you really need to cleanse yourself out of this. Bitcoin will outperform everything. Yes, that's true. So does that mean that you should never ever spend it? I don't think so.
Fair. No, I think eventually there will come a point, and I appreciate this idea of, like, write down and set the goal and stick to it and understand it. I definitely believe in the 4 year cycle, and I think there's something to be learned for those of us who, like, this whole iteration of the pump and now coming back down. Like, this is my first experience. I didn't start buying Bitcoin until 2019, so I very much am experiencing these, and there are lessons for us to learn, and I think it's helpful to understand that if this is a very regular and expectable pattern, at least for the price discovery stage, not financial advice, like, everyone should do what they feel comfortable doing. If you listen to what I do and say that's a good idea and that's all the research you do, I'm sorry, but you're an idiot. um, but, like, if, to your point, all right, we've reached a new high in this cycle, maybe it could go higher, maybe it's starting to come down. I'm going to take some chips off the table. I'm going to
Yeah.
go, but, like, pay off a good chunk of my mortgage. I'm going to do this or do that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think there's a degree within the Bitcoin community sometimes where there's, like, this shamefulness. Like, no one should be telling you what to do. You should be doing what you feel most comfortable with. And if it is selling your Bitcoin, sell it to me. Shit.
Uh, yeah. One thing about the selling, even if we have hyper Bitcoinization in the world and every other currency died, the 2% inflation that we're right now are supposed to have, if you
Why are
start
you laughing?
spending,
What are you laughing about?
uh, yeah, the 2% that you're going to start spending from your Bitcoin, you're still never going to run out of Bitcoin. Our minds are not ready for the thing that if you sell 2% of your Bitcoin, you will be able to still afford more and more stuff every year. Like, we are, we've never lived to this. At least the players, I would say, the quintillionaires that could print money for themselves. Yeah, like, they've experienced this. But if you spend, let's say, 5% of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin goes up 30% again, why, like, you shouldn't buy shoes and stuff that are necessary for you. Like, people will not do that, but because we're we're again cleansing from this fiat thinking. I can't afford it. This is the best thing that's going to return the most thing that I could afford. Once you settle in and you say, okay, uh, I am covered about my life. I just need to save in it. I don't need to worry about the pressure that somebody is coming and stealing it away from me, inflating it away. Once you settle that thing in, you'll be comfortable selling whatever amount of selling. But with one note, again, don't sell more than 50%. Because if you sell all of it and then it shoots up, you're like, then it's a bad bet. But uh, yeah, but in order to cleanse yourself, you start with the list. What are the list? What are the things that you want to have in your life? What are the things that you would like to accomplish? And with Bitcoin, absolutely every single thing on that list can be accomplished. We never had that. The only difference is you don't know exactly when. But right now, can you tell me I'm absolutely going to be a millionaire? Like, no, in fiat, but absolutely yes in what you're able to afford with Bitcoin. So you just need to continue stacking. And at some point, okay, this particular thing I want to buy because it will enrich my life so much more.
100%. So well said. Ivan, we are at that point though. We are past midnight on the East Coast, so it is now Friday morning on the East Coast. Woof. Um, I want to give you the opportunity to let people know where they can find you, stay up to date with the work you're doing over at Breeze. Um, and just wanted to say thank you very much for getting up so early and taking the time to come join me on late night Bitcoin or early morning Bitcoin for you.
Yeah. I'm doing the migration from Twitter to Noster. So my handle in Noster is Naku2000, Nackoo 2000 at nosterplebs.com. And on Twitter, I'm Naku2000, but there I'm decreasingly using it.
Fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, it has been another lovely evening, a lovely week of late night Bitcoin. I will be back tomorrow. We will be back next week. I'm going to go smoke this joint. Good night.